Morning, guys. Going on a quick morning walk in Port Warwick. LA is up getting it. That's awesome. I was talking with a client the other day, and she kept talking about how she gets tired really quickly, like after she eats, like lunch, whatever it is. Most people do get this. And you never want to go straight to like a diagnosis, especially as a personal trainer. You got to be really careful. But I told her to go get her blood sugar checked out, and she did, and she came back after her doctor did a fasting glucose test, and she was pre-diabetic. And that was actually what I was kind of thinking in the back of my mind, because I know that insulin resistance causes that fatigue right after eating. That is something that is really common amongst people, and you never want to slap a diagnosis, like I said, on them. But a lot of people are pre-diabetic. The CDC, the Center of Disease Control, reported that 1 in 3 Americans, every living adult, I think it's a lot of people, but basically 84 million people, 1 in 3 people have prediabetes or insulin resistance, same thing. And of those people, 90% don't know that they have it, right? If you're overweight, there's a good chance you might be insulin resistant, but everyone should go get tested. So what causes it is pretty much inactivity, eating high GI foods, spiking that blood glucose and forcing your body to release a large amount of insulin. And over time, you become kind of insulin resistant, because what insulin is, it's a key, and it binds to glucose. I'm switch hands. And it binds to glucose, and it kind of walks glucose into a door. The door is like a cell that needs glucose for fuel. But if the key doesn't work, that glucose has to circulate around in the blood. And if it has nowhere else to go, it goes back home, basically, back to the liver, converted, and then stored as fat. And then you have a bunch of abdominal fat. I can go into depth about this and how it also has the same mechanism with protein as well. So when someone's overweight or insulin resistant and they want to add muscle but burn fat, it can be a little tough, because you're kind of insulin resistant to both carbs and protein if you are insulin resistant. So the initial weight loss is probably going to be a little bit of both going away, and then you can kind of step it up after that. It all depends on the person. So some of the symptoms, like if you were to let's take a step back. If you were to go to the doctor and get a test, they would do 1 of 2 tests, fasting glucose or A1C test, right? Fasting glucose is when they measure your blood sugar after 8 hours of not eating or drinking anything. And if your measurements are between 100 and 125, I think it's milligrams per deciliter, then you're in the pre-diabetic range. If anything under 100, normal. Anything over 125, diabetes. So, getting checked for that can really open up your eyes as to like how you're doing as far as insulin resistance goes, and why you're feeling the things that you're feeling, kind of like excessive hunger, excessive thirst, extreme fatigue after eating, muscle loss, and a combination of other things, frequent urination as well. The other test that they'll do is an A1C test. That's a hemoglobin A1C. All that is a chemical compound that binds to glucose, and what it measures, I think it's 5.7 to 6.4%. That's a measure of your average blood sugar levels over the past 3 months. So that's a really good indication of like the progress of insulin resistance, or has it gotten worse, has it gotten better, are you on the right track? So that's something good to kind of track progress for my clients if they've been working out, trying to make progress. Fasting glucose is good, but A1C is actually a better indicator of long-term results. So the best ways to deal with it, honestly, low GI foods that don't spike the blood glucose levels and then subsequently insulin levels, right? Another thing too, just moving a little bit each day. Like calories in is one thing, calories out, that's really important too. And then third, and perhaps the most important one, you have to add lean muscle tissue. Think about lean muscle as opening more doors for that blood sugar to go, right? Like if you have more lean muscle tissue, no, you're not gonna get bulky, right? You're gonna have more places for that blood sugar to go before it has to go back to the liver to be converted as fat, because it has nowhere else to go, right? So open up more doors, you increase insulin sensitivity, and that blood sugar is now being used as fuel rather than being stored as fat. So that's why I promote that so much, and that's why a lot of health professionals and doctors promote strength training, because it's much more than just stepping on stage and flexing. It's healthy, it's good. Muscle is a key to hormone health, and energy. So those are the 3 things I would recommend. Fourthly, I would just say, if you think you're pre-diabetic, or if you've been really tired after you eat foods and whatnot, just book a call, talk to me, and let's talk about it. Let's go over your schedule. Let's see how you feel each day, and we'll get a plan together for you. So thank you guys for listening. Hope you have a beautiful morning. Morning walk makes my day, and have a good one. Talk soon.